Demo days at Fort Worth Indian wrapped up yesterday, and Rachel got a chance to take out some of the Indian motorcycles.
3 Indian motorcycles. 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians. 3 little Indian bikes.
So Rachel, what was the first motorcycle you took out on the Indian demos?
I've slept since then. I don't remember. What was the first?
The first motorcycle that Rachel took out on the Indian demos was the Indian Chief, the base model.
That's the one, the Chief. Yeah, and I liked it. It was low to the ground. It was stable. It didn't hurt my legs. Like, the problems I've had with Indians in the past were that there's like an air intake that is in such a way that where the foot pegs are, it just bumps into my knee and it's really uncomfortable. So that's why I have always, thought there really wasn't an Indian that I could be comfortable on till they came out with the bobber, the Scout Bobber. But this new Chief is configured in the same way the Scout Bobber is, such that it doesn't mess with my leg. It's actually really comfortable. There's nothing in the way like on the other Indians. So I liked that. Has plenty of power, of course. It's a 111 engine, and I've been riding a Rebel 500, so plenty of power, even though the bike is much heavier.
Damn! Okay, let's go into second gear, shall we? That's got some power. It'll do.
The one thing that I did not like about it was that the clutch handle is pretty far away from the hand grip, and it's a little stiffer than I'm used to, and my hands are just really small, so I got tired after a while. Also, trying to hit the turn signal button with my thumb with the clutch pulled in was awkward and difficult, and so that was uncomfortable. I could probably get used to it, like strengthen my hand, but it was something that was noticeable, that was uncomfortable for me.
One thing that I'll notice from following you on that bike was that the rear tire on the Chief is huge. It looked like it was bigger than you. I mean...
Yeah, well, that's part of what makes it stable and comfortable to ride, I think.
Then after Rachel got back from her ride on the Chief, she took out the new Scout Rogue, which is, like I said in my review, it's set up like a bobber with mini apes and a little fairing and a really comfortable seat.
Yeah, when I sat on the bike, the seat was extremely comfortable. It has a nice lower back support, and I wanted to sort of sit further back in it so that it would be comfortable, and I enjoyed that when I was just sitting there. But then when I got on it to ride, I realized that the handlebars were too far forward for me, and I had to lean forward to reach them, so I didn't get to take advantage of that comfortable seat as much. Same thing with my leg. I didn't have a problem. It was configured nicely. This one didn't feel like it was quite as low slung. Like it didn't feel quite as stable in the turns to me as the Chief did, which was kind of interesting. It has the Scout engine. Plenty of power for me, even though it was less power than the bike I had just ridden. It didn't seem like it was underpowered to me at all. I did have the same problem with the clutch, but that was true across the board for everything that I rode that day. Overall, I liked it. It was a good bike.
The last one that Rachel took out was the Super Chief Limited. The Super Chief is the light touring version of the Chief, and the Limited is the one with the ride command on the center instrument cluster and the 116.
Right. So this one, first of all, I was interested in it because it has, all the bags, and it has the windshield, and it has cruise control, and this is the bike I would be looking at if I were going to upgrade to a touring bike, something that we could actually ride long distances without just being really uncomfortable. Right now, my Rebel, I like it. It's great for short hops, but it really is not comfortable for long distances, as we discovered when we went on a 300-mile journey. When was it? Last year?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a video you can watch for that.
There is a video you can watch for that.
But back to the Super Chief. It has a lot of power. It's got a 116 engine, and it's plenty. As Luke says, nobody needs that much power, but it's nice to have it. It was comfortable. The leg configuration was good for me. I had a little bit of trouble, you'll see in the video, getting out of the parking lot because the bike has floorboards, and I've never ridden a bike with floorboards before, and I had a little trouble finding the rear brake pedal as I was going down the steep ramp to get out of the parking lot there at Fort Worth Indian, and I wobbled a little because I was searching for that rear brake so that I could be more stable on the ramp. I figured it out. It was okay. Same problem with the clutch handle, a little too far away, a little stiff, a little hard to get to the turn signal buttons with my thumb while the clutch was pulled in. I could get used to it. I liked it. Having the big windshield, made it so that I didn't mind going fast. Usually on other bikes, if I'm going over 70, I start to really notice the wind resistance, and it becomes a little bit uncomfortable. Obviously with the windshield, I didn't have that problem at all. Although the windshield was not exactly the right height for me, obviously the whole bike just wasn't configured for someone of my height, but the windshield was hitting the top of the windshield right in the middle of my sight, so I kind of had to strain to look over it, and of course if you try to look through it, it impairs your vision a little bit. So I would have wanted the windshield to be a little bit smaller or a little bit lower for my height, and I'm 5'3" and a half.
But
Don't
with
forget
that
the half.
windshield height, did you get much helmet buffeting?
None at all. I had no helmet buffeting, and wasn't that a problem you had before?
It was a problem that I had before because I would be over the windshield a little too much. I had to get a helmet that was the right shape.
Yeah, I didn't have that problem at all.
And the Super Chief is just what they call the one that's outfitted for light touring, with the windshield, with the saddlebags, with the floorboards, and is available as a Super Chief with the 111 and the Super Chief Limited with the 116 and the Ride Command. Did you notice the navigation up on the Speedo?
Not at all, buddy. I was still trying to figure out where the rear brake pedal was and the turn signal indicator. But I did want to mention that the bike itself is bigger compared to the Scout models. It's a little bit longer, it's a little bit heavier, it's a little bit heftier. So it is slightly bigger. If you've been riding a Scout or riding something of about that size and you're ready to go up to something bigger, the Super Chief is a good next step.
Now, if you were to pick one to be your next motorcycle, which way do you think you would go?
Of those three, I probably like the Super Chief the best, especially considering the fact that it's already tricked out as a touring bike. I liked that one. I would still probably also look at the Honda 1100, the Rebel, but I'm not buying yet. So
That's for another video, and when and if Honda ever does a demo in our area.
I know.
But so between those three and your Rebel, which one do you like the best?
Okay, so after riding the three Indians and got back on my Rebel to go home, I was like, oh, it's so small, it's so little, it's light, the clutch is close and soft, it's very easy to get to all the controls, it's very maneuverable, it's just super nimble and fun. It's stripped down, so it's not great for long distances at all. I have no bags, no windshield, no fairings, nothing on there at all, but I love that bike so much. It's great for me. I really enjoy riding it. It's not good for long distances, but for little short hops like I usually do, 30, 45 minutes, it's great. And I have the new saddle on it. We have a video of us installing the new Mustang saddle, which makes it more comfortable than the stock seat.
And we haven't really given that Mustang saddle a proper test. You haven't gone on anything more than about 20 miles at a time with that seat in place to see how it is. And I have my old windshield that I used to have on the Scout we could put on and see, you know, if that gives you better wind protection for the longer rides. But hey, that's one of those things. So there are Rachel's thoughts on the 3 Indian motorcycles that she was able to take out on the demo. Gives you a little bit different perspective on the bikes. Well, actually, a lot of different perspective on the bikes because we've got much different size involved there. So, thanks for watching.